I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't think I've ever been as conflicted when filming a Buzzfeed test than I am right now. For this week's options on my Instagram poll, I gave you the Flamin' Hot Cheeto Burrito, the best brownies you'll ever eat, ice cream cake pops, and fried rice chicken teriyaki cups. And once again, a landslide victory went to the brownies. It wasn't even close. And I did think it was a little bit odd just because recently we've done the brownie bombs, we've done the salted caramel brownies just like 3 weeks ago. And who can forget the best fudgy brownies that I've mentioned 100 times on this channel now. But that's what you guys voted for, and I was pretty set with that up until I started reading my Instagram DMs. David, please don't do the brownies again. Come on, you've made brownies so many times. How these polls go every week, you're gonna be testing sweets for the rest of your life. No, don't do this. We already have so many brownie recipes. Please don't do these. I hate when people vote on the most simple recipes. I don't know what to do. Obviously, it just comes down to the overall vote. About 10,000 of you guys now vote on my Instagram polls, and I can't go against that. If you want me to change it and do something different, let me know in the comments of this video. But for this week, I'm gonna be following your guys' vote and doing the best brownies. They have a lot to live up to compared to those fudgy brownies from a few months ago. So let's get right into it. So guys, for our 17th version of brownies on the channel, I grabbed some dark cocoa powder. This is the only main thing I have to change because over in the video they used Dutch processed cocoa powder. I can never seem to find that. I'm hoping this dark powder won't make that much of a difference. Some espresso powder, some semi-sweet chocolate baking bars, some butter and vanilla extract, a couple of eggs, kosher salt, brown sugar, white sugar, and flour. That's pretty much it. Now the very first thing I did was chopped up those 2 baking bars. This is 8 ounces of chocolate in total, and I dumped those into a container. Afterwards, I added in some of my cocoa powder and some of the espresso powder, and set that to the side while I melted down 2.5 sticks of unsalted butter in my small saucepan. You want this butter to get as hot as possible without burning any of the little bits at the bottom. And once you do that, you're gonna pour it over your chocolate, allow it to sit for a few minutes, and then mix that all together, and you'll get this beautiful ganache looking chocolate. Instead of cream, it's butter, but it's close enough. Next up on the list today is our sugars. First, 2 cups of our granulated sugar, along with some brown sugar, a little bit of vanilla, and about 2 teaspoons of our kosher salt. And then I set that to the side while I cracked 6 eggs in total. If this was a year ago, I'd have 8 pieces of shell in there and half the yolks would be broken, but I've improved, thankfully. And now one at a time, I dumped in my eggs into the sugar and then used my electric hand mixer to incorporate everything together. Apparently, this is the most important part. You want to mix the heck out of all these eggs and the sugar to incorporate as much air as possible. If you don't, it'll be flat and more dense in the end, so just mix it until your arm feels like it's about to fall off. You can also waste some time mixing by counting out all the different channels that think they started Buzzfeed tests. Trust me, you'd be there for a while. Anyways, once everything was mixed up together, I slowly dumped in my butter and chocolate mix. Afterwards, you do not want to mix this a lot. That chocolate will cause it to deflate, apparently. So I just mixed everything in together and set that mixer off to the side. The very last step here is to sift in both a cup of flour and another half cup of that dark chocolate cocoa powder, and then carefully fold those dry ingredients in as lightly as you can be. If it's possible, even more light than Jake Paul's thinning hair. I feel like this video is gonna get me in some trouble, but who cares? And finally, in a large metal pan, I threw down some parchment paper, a little bit of butter to prevent any sticking from happening, and I dumped in my batter and spread that whole thing out across the entire pan. This is where it differs from a lot of brownie recipes. You want to pop it in the oven, 350 degrees for 20 minutes. You want to take it out, slam it against the countertop to create some cracks in the surface. Salt the top. I'm using kosher salt for this instead of sea salt. and then finish it in the same temperature oven for another 25 minutes. That's 45 minutes total of cook time. I allowed this to cool. I popped it right out of the pan. It came out super easily. I chopped up a couple of even squares, and it is now time to give these a try. So here I have a nice little platter of my brownies. They are super dark. I'm assuming that's because of the dark cocoa powder I used. And that'll affect the flavor, I'm sure, a little bit, but hopefully not that much. I did not mean for that to happen. Now I'm gonna have ants everywhere. Oh my, I broke my snitch! So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, these kinda suck. I was comparing them to the fudgy brownies, as I've mentioned. They do not hold a candle to them. They taste like a slightly above average boxed brownie mix. Could the cocoa powder have made a difference? Yeah, but not big enough to affect them that much. They're okay. If somebody told me they bought these in a bakery or something, I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. But compared to the fudgy brownies, not even close. And I'm pretty sure these take more time than the other ones. So if you want to see what recipe I'm talking about, it's linked in the top of the description. Go check that one out. As for these, I'll give them like a 4. What a letdown. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Buzzfeed test. If you did, leave me a big like. Let me know in the comments what I should do when the Jake Paulers come after me. Go follow me over on Twitter and Instagram. Look out for the next poll I do, or tweet at me. Let me know what you want to see next. Other than that, have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you right back here next time. Peace! Actually, time out. Last week, I got a copyright strike for my outro that I've been using for almost 2 years now. So we're gonna go back to the old song. If any of you OGs remember it, here it is.